David Dilling, hi, how are you?
Amybeth, hello. Thanks for taking the time. Yeah, I forgot my name there. That's incredible. But thanks for taking the time, calling from New York, or New Jersey, I guess, actually, right?
Oh, the Bronx.
The Bronx. Okay, cool. And Amybeth works for a large publishing house, and today she's going to tell us about her experiences with PDFMarkz, the new PDF to InDesign and PDF to Publisher and PDF to Court, etc. Standalone application. I think.
Love them.
Excellent. Excellent.
Necessary part of my day-to-day workflow.
That's what we love to hear right off the bat. That's perfect.
Necessary part of my day-to-day workflow. And I will tell you all about that in a minute.
Awesome. But yeah, because when I talked with Amybeth beforehand, we have Amybeth, I think she uses Qt as well. There's a video about her there. You can hear all about Amybeth. But what I wanted to ask you today, Amybeth, is you're a graphic designer, you're a trainer, but you have a couple new things, but you're also involved in a lot of associations. Like what kind of association work do you do?
Well, I've been a mentor and a board member for the Graphic Communications Scholarship Foundation of New York, which raises money for students in all over the eastern part of North America, and gives them scholarships for graphic communications for all 4 years of college and graduate school. And we also have been running a mentoring program. So I've been involved with that for 6 years, and it was pretty much hands-on before the pandemic. You know, like we would meet with our mentors, we would take them on tours of different printing companies. So we've had to come up with different engaging sort of ways to keep them involved during the pandemic. So we've been doing different training programs for them. You know, like I've been running different, like an InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop, and then an Acrobat all together for print. So like, all 4 different applications, how they all work together, and everything you need to know to bring them to the print world. Like stuff that they don't, using the Adobe applications in like a real world environment.
Right.
And so that was a great experience. So I've also started working with the Advertising Production Club, NYC. I'm a board member. And lately we have partnered with Deborah Corn and Project Peacock. And we have this fascinating online platform, which is like a mini virtual Drupa. It's a great networking event and it's open 24 hours. They have all these different types of special events. So you can come in and see people that, see IDML, your local vendors, your paper vendors. They can send you samples. It's a pretty cool platform. And the APC is a great organization. They do a lot of networking events, and they help raise money for graphic communication scholarships for those studying graphic arts students.
Awesome. Awesome.
I've been involved with the IDML on the Print Properties Committee, which is like a group of the most fascinating color scientists that just are like developing and implementing different, color standards for G7 methodology and the extended color gamut. So that has just been an amazing experience. So all of that color geek, fascinating stuff, just trying to stay involved with it. And then the last thing that I've recently done was launch my own website.
Yeah.
Adobe 123. And that is, I'm an Adobe certified expert and trainer. So I do either one-on-one, remote, or in-person training for all different levels of people that are just starting out, people that like have design and like want to focus on one particular area. I also go into companies and I'll audit like your pre-press process and see where your strengths are, what you're not doing right, like in your print workflow or your Adobe, PDF print engine settings and various different. So you can go check out my website, and if you're interested.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show them right now because it's pretty cool. It's right here, and it's just, it's perfect for you, Amybeth. Amybeth's been a customer of Markzware for years, and she's just so. It's almost like you love to share your knowledge. It's not like, you just like to help people, I get the idea. So this is like a perfect way, I think, a perfect thing for you to do. So here's your webpage, and I'll put a link to this down below in the description.
Thank you.
Like the little logo, learn Adobe 1, 2, 3. Cool. Great. Yeah, good. And in the meantime, we came out with a new product, PDFMarkz, which replaced PDF-DTP, which Amybeth was also a user of. And PDF-DTP was a plugin to InDesign. So it was like, you go up to the Markzware menu item, you choose Convert PDF, and it would do its great thing. Converting multi-page PDFs into new, fully editable InDesign files with live text, etc. But now we have a standalone application that does the same thing and much more. So instead of me asking you how you like it, which we'll do at the end, and I think we're gonna hear that in the middle here, I thought maybe it's great if you could just share your screen and see how you use it, maybe.
So I just, as a testimonial, right? I mean, because this week was a perfect testimonial. My MacBook, I had my battery was swelling, and I had to use my second MacBook, which my primary machine was allocated with the PDFMarkz and the PDF and the Quark to InDesign, the standalone application.
Yeah, QXPMarkz. Yeah.
So, yeah. And it was incredible. Just the 1 week that I didn't have my primary machine, I needed to go to my IT department, and I was like, I need another license for the PDFMarkz and the InDesign Markz. They are such a you don't realize like they say, you don't realize how much you need something until you don't have it. And just the benefit, I've been a fan for a long time, and I've watched from the plugins, the Quark to InDesign, the PDF to InDesign, and now the standalone applications, which do so much more because you have the preview that shows you things. And this week in general, I got 2 files that were PDFs, and let me just show you, because one of them was a mystery, right? I couldn't even figure out what the creator was, but like they say, I could show you better than I can.
Okay, well let's do that. Let me.
So to begin with, this week I received a interior file from a designer, and we couldn't figure out what application it came in, and we needed to make edits to it, the managing editor, and it came from, a contractor on the outside who was no longer working on the project, and this was all that we had. So one of the features that I really like about PDFMarkz is that you can just drag and drop right from the icon in your Acrobat right onto PDFMarkz, right? And it'll open it up. And immediately you see it's translating this document, and it gives me the size of the file, the date that it was originally created on, how many pages are in my document, the spreads, how many different types of fonts are used, how many different colors are used. So that was one of the questions that the production person had. It was supposed to be number 1, a 1 color interior file, and it was pre-flooding with more than 1 colors. That the resolution was low on one of the images, and on top of it, they had to make edits, right? So, and then if you look right here, you can see that the creator, right? So it wasn't Canva. I know you're a fan. You just did your video.
Well, we're like Switzerland, we don't.
And, I do this too. I cringe when when I hear that somebody got a file in Canva, but this is created in an application called Vellum. So this is fantastic. So I get all the previews. I can look through the entire document. I can see the page size in this, and then I could export this to, if I'm using Publisher, if I wanted to just create my own PDF, I can export this to InDesign, and then it's going to open up in InDesign. There it is. I'm just going to say, now I have my 324-page InDesign document. I just have to acquire the fonts that were used in this document. My production editor can make edits. We can replace, whatever logos with higher res logos or vector logos. We can route a PDF that can have, PDF markups and can go from first pass to second pass. and my workflow is not interrupted. So I don't have to figure out, how I'm going to work on a PDF file that the contractor is no longer working on the project with the company and just basically said, here's your vellum file, poof, I'm done,
Yeah.
And second thing that I had happen this week was that one of my interior designers received a map that they wanted to be able to edit that was sent over from the UK, and same kind of situation. The creator of the original designer of the project was, they were unable to get any native application files. I could do a Command I on the file and find out that it was created in Illustrator, right? So I knew that the file was created in Illustrator. So most people say, the PDF's created in Illustrator. I'll just edit it in Illustrator. And what do we always know? What do we always say? What does Dov Isaacs always say?
Yeah. Illustrator,
is not PDF editing application. So
right.
I want to show you this second. So I had this map, right? So if I do what the average Joe does and just opens this in Illustrator, it appears to open fine. But what if I had him edit this type that said the gulp, the gulp, like a big gulp, the gulp of Rija, right? So if I click on this, I can see that every letter is actually,
individual
on a path. Right?
Yeah.
So there's no, I'd have to retype it.
Oh yeah, and once you move it, it's out of position and.
Yeah. What a pain in the neck. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You could do that. You could struggle in your workflow, but now with PDF to InDesign or PDFMarkz, so now you could export it to, like, if I could export it to Illustrator and everything would still be text on a path, but I prefer to work in the layout application of InDesign. So if I just drag this into PDFMarkz, and I open this up, and I get a nice little preview page of my document. And then I can choose to export this to InDesign. Cool.
There we go.
The auto load for the fonts.
I love that type 1 warning. One of your fonts won't be supported in 2023. Seems so far away, but.
I know they want you to know.
Yeah, it's nice of them,
Like these maps that were done in, 2002.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's global warming. That piece of land is probably going to fall off the earth.
Well, that's why editing maps is important,
Right. But look, if I go here.
Oh yeah, right on. Wow, yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that is like. That right there, like, just says it all. Like, it's a lifesaver.
Yeah. Wow.
You can't put a price on, like, like your time and your productivity. I mean, there's a point where, like, recreating something is part of your job, but you don't want to spend, tons of time, like, recreating stuff that you don't have to. Like, the whole point of, like, the productivity and the scripting and the stuff that I do is you want the designers and you want the people that are actually, like, designing and creating from the floor up to, to be able to spend more time to, for the whole creative process to happen.
Right.
And for, like, people that, like to see the creativity, like, happen smoothly, like, so we like to put the pieces in the workflow, like, that don't trip them up, so that the creativity can just happen.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. This is a great example of a real life file where you can get right to work on it and not have to struggle through hacking it, through
right. And spend 3 hours retyping things, creating type on a pad,
Right. Right.
Copying and pasting one letter after another into it because I don't want to spell something wrong on a map in a country that, you're not familiar with it.
Yeah.
So
I love how you drag and drop from Acrobat the icon. I never knew that. I learned something new. That's really neat.
I drag and drop from anything into anything. Yeah, I always do that with Acrobat. You can just drag from the desktop
Yeah. Wow, that's neat. I mean, I was taking from Keynote and dragging into Illustrator the other day. I thought it's kind of neat how you can do that kind of stuff. But that was really neat how you're taking from the title bar.
I don't have to like navigate to my desktop. I could just drag from right here and into the application, and boom.
I love it because it's like a real life, scenario here. It's really cool. Yeah, excellent, awesome. Well, let's go.
They were real life, and Markzware was a real world, production saver. This week for me, it was like I had to have, when they ask you, when you fill out things that you need for your workflow, they're wants or must have. Markzware for me is a must have for my workflow. Otherwise I'm gonna spend hours tripped up, recreating things, stumbling, circling back in emails, looking for original content. When boom, I could just get the job done.
Yeah.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
I have a PDF. I have something to compare my original file to, right? So I know I can compare it and see if anything moves. There's nothing, there's no perfect process. We're not replacing human being.
No.
But we're helping the operator. And
yeah. And just to make note, PDFMarkz is also extracting images, so that's a lot of people are using it just for that,
So real quickly, I just wanted to point out that one of the questions that the production editor had about this map was that the bevel on it, was created with low-res raster settings in Illustrator, which is a common mistake. You set your raster settings to 72 DPI, and then you save your PDF. And the, any kind of blur or drop shadow or bevel effect is going to have a low res setting. But if these were images, and another beautiful thing about PDFMarkz is not only does it make a fonts folder for you, but it collects the images.
Beth, I know you have to get going. You have a town hall meeting or whatever they're called. All this work remote. You have a lot of stuff you have to. You're wearing a lot of different hats. It's amazing where you get the time from, and I really appreciate your time. And you really,
I love Markzware. I really appreciate your software. It makes my job so much easier. It is really an essential tool in my workflow. I highly recommend it. Another beautiful thing about PDFMarkz is for people that don't even have InDesign or the applications, you get a preview of what the application does, and you should also check out the new Flight Check application.
That's in beta, but they can always email us on sales@markzware.com, and we'll
that shortly because that works without the applications, and that is awesome, fantastic. Because check, pre-flight.
Yeah. Well, you're a real production person, so you know about the checking is so important at all stages of the workflow. So yeah. But Amybeth, thank you so very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much.